Eddie Hearn from Matchroom's just joined us now. Hi Eddie, how are you?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, we're very, very good, thank you. We're building up to the big fight this weekend. Are you going to it? You going to Wembley?
No, we've got a big show in Dallas, Texas on the zone as well. Jesse Bam Rodriguez in a big unification, but the time zones work well. So I'll be watching Usyk against Dubois before our big show in America.
Fair enough. I mean, we're looking forward to it here on talkSPORT. We've got it all live for you this weekend. So don't forget, Eddie, you can download the talkSPORT app and take us anywhere you go if you want to listen to our coverage of the fight. Big man, that'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll have that on. I'll have the zone on, talkSPORT. I'll have everything covered.
Eyes and ears everywhere. How do you see this one going? Dubois or Usyk? Who's under more pressure to win this one?
I mean, look, it's a brilliant fight. It's the undisputed heavyweight world championship. So, it doesn't get much bigger than that. I think Dubois is on a great run. He beat Jarrell Miller, he beat Hrgovic, he beat AJ, of course. Did have that fight fall through with Joseph Parker, so been a little bit inactive. And Usyk, what can you say? He's been sensational, hasn't he? Obviously beaten Dubois already, beaten AJ twice, beaten Fury twice. He's the pound for pound king. So timing's everything. This is the best time for Daniel Dubois to take this opportunity, I think. Usyk is certainly no spring chicken, but everyone keeps thinking he's going to show signs of getting a little bit older. He doesn't seem to do that, but big crowd, Wembley Stadium. Dubois is going to be a tough man to beat, but I think, you always have to favour Oleksandr Usyk in any fight, but I really believe Dubois has got a good opportunity this weekend.
How do you sit with that, Eddie? You've not got a direct connection with either of the fighters. How do you sit? Do you just sit back and enjoy the fight, or would you prefer to have obviously an interest in it for enjoyment?
Cool. Always, you always want to be there, watching your man try and win, especially try and win the undisputed heavyweight world championship. Obviously, from my point of view, always back the Brit first and foremost, and it's a massive opportunity for Daniel Dubois to pick up those 4 belts. I've promoted Oleksandr Usyk for, 6, 7 fights. He's such a genius, but he's also a great man, great individual. So it's very difficult. I think it's a fascinating fight. I really admire what Dubois has done to come back from, which was really, when he lost to Joe Joyce, he was in a bad way, and for a long time he looked like, he got dropped a couple of times against Lorena. He just didn't look like he was a guy that was going to go and do what he's gone on to do. So you have to give him huge respect, and it would be massive for British boxing if he could get the win. Usyk's a little bit like an adopted son of British boxing as well. I feel like even the Brits love Usyk. I don't think there's anyone that doesn't. You have to admire the quality and the man himself. So good luck to both men, mate. May the best man win.
Yeah, fair enough. Eddie, can we ask you about the fight that's making some noise as well this week? Anthony Joshua could be in line for a fight against Jake Paul. Is there anything you can tell us about that?
I mean, in the mad world that we live in, you might just see it. When this fight was first mentioned by Jake Paul, I kind of laughed and thought that'd be nice, wouldn't it? And then, meetings with His Excellency last week, who I think realises the commercial size of that fight and that opportunity. So if Jake Paul was mad enough to do it, I think Anthony would probably say yes as well and do everybody a favour and end it all, for Mr. Paul in boxing. So, like I said, not really a fight we've been targeting, but if it's presented to us, why not?
Yeah, fair enough. Also, Conor Benn and Shakur Stevenson, that's doing the trends right now on social media. Anything else to update us on there? Is there a November fight on the card there?
Yeah, obviously we have a 2-fight deal with Chris Eubank Jr. His Excellency's told Eubank that September 20th is the date. As I understand it, there's been a little bit of radio silence from Eubank. I don't know, part of me feels like he might not fight again. Obviously that was a very taxing fight against Conor Benn. Hamza Shiraz is now in place to fight Canelo Alvarez if he comes through Crawford. So Eubank's a bit in limbo if he doesn't take the Conor Benn fight. And, maybe physically after, I know he had 3 or 4 days in hospital after the fight, he doesn't want to go to war again on September 20th. If he doesn't, the whole world wants to fight Conor Benn at the moment. You've got Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. They're all calling him out. So there's been a lot of, like you said, interest and trend. They were on the Ariel Helwani show. Conor and Shakur came together. Yeah. Shakur is a lightweight. It would be like Conor moving up 2 divisions like he did. Be like Shakur doing the same. And pound for pound, he's a phenomenal fighter. But up at welterweight, Conor feels like he'd give him a run for his money. So if we don't get Eubank, if he chooses to duck out of the fight, then why not Shakur Stevenson later in the year?
What are the details that you would go in when you're looking for someone to fight Conor, Ben? What you're looking at? Is it purely down to money, or is it other aspects as well?
You know, the money fight, Piercy, was Eubank. You know, you got a young, undefeated welterweight. Really, what you want to do is take him towards a world championship, and that's the dream. But the Eubank fight came along. Obviously, commercially, it was huge. We know the narrative, we know the storyline, and we signed up for those 2 fights. But outside of the Eubank fight, really, the aim for Conor Benn is to win a world championship at 147 pounds in his own division. So, you know, I think that we're excited to see that happen. But once we get this Eubank situation, you know, cleared up, really, it's all eyes on trying to see Conor Benn do what his father did, which was to go and win a world championship in his weight class. I believe he's got the ability to do it. That fight gave him great profile, great admiration because of the way that he fights. But yeah, you know, the money's obviously almost secured for him now. It's just a case of going and achieving that legacy of becoming world champion.
Lovely. Eddie Hearn, live from Texas. Good luck for your fights this weekend then, Eddie. We'll hear more from you on Drive very, very soon. Thanks so much to Eddie Hearn for coming on the show. You're listening to Drive here on talkSPORT. Live on talkSPORT, commentary of the undisputed world heavyweight title fight between Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois from Wembley Stadium. British heavyweight Dave Allen will be part of our expert boxing team this weekend, and we'll keep you right up to date with all of the action right the way through this week to the final bell. And who better to build up now with our very own Spencer Oliver and Gareth A. Davies. Hello, gentlemen, always together. How are you getting on?
We're good, Shaban. Thank you, Stuart. We're here at the workouts. We're going through the card at the moment. We're about half an hour away from Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois coming in. The atmosphere's really building, Spencer, isn't it? It's an amazing atmosphere here at Box Park in Wembley.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, the atmosphere's been building here, you know, from the beginning of the week, and now reality seems to be kicking in with both guys. We're going to see a more intense space from Oleksandr Usyk, and I'm sure we're going to see that from Daniel Dubois as well.
We've got a very special guest who I'm going to bring in right now, none other than Don Charles.
Oh, hello.
I nearly called you Dole Charles then. Don Charles, the trainer.
Anything you want.
The trainer of Daniel Dubois. First of all, how is he?
Daniel's mighty fine.
Yeah, Don, listen, I want to ask you a question. You were talking about mind games and that Oleksandr was maybe playing the mind games before. Do you feel that you're starting to get under their skin, starting to get into their head now? Because for the first time, I feel that I've seen Oleksandr maybe rattled a little bit this week.
Well, you know, all the talking is over as far as I'm concerned, as I stand here, but if there's any mind game, that was in the previous meetings. The first face-off, if you guys remember about when the fight was first announced, when my son accustomed him to ask him questions, and myself on the top table. I spoke my mind. I'm not going to regurgitate. I think he got the message.
That's the mental stuff though, Don, but physically, is your man primed to knock out Oleksandr Usyk and become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world?
The answer is categorically capital Y, capital E, capital S, exclamation mark.
We're going to let you go. Well, we're going to let you go then, because we know you've got to take him into the ring. Go on.
Like I said, all the talking is done. We're only a few days till history is made. So keep tuning in and support Daniel Dubois. That's all I ask. Our only request is every British person, if you are British, tune in and support Daniel Dubois on the zone. And listen on talkSPORT if you haven't got a television.
Lovely. We're going to let you go and do the workout with him in the ring. Thank you so much. As always.
Thank you so
I
much.
won't leave you hanging. Back to you, Shaban.
Thank you very much to Don Charles there, joining Gareth A. Davies and Spencer Oliver. Guys, just stay with us for a minute. I mean, how are you feeling ahead of the build-up to this fight? Because I was watching the interview with Daniel Dubois there, Spencer, and it feels like he's a little bit different at the moment. Like having a camera in his face isn't as awkward as it used to be with Daniel Dubois. I mean, he must be going through a lot of training.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Daniel Dubois is sort of like not just grown physically, but he's grown mentally as well. And that's the difference between this fight and the first fight they had nearly 2 years ago to the day in Poland. We was at that fight, and Daniel Dubois was very much a boy then. That's in Don Charles's words. And Don Charles said he's now grown into a man, in boxing terms, that is, and we're going to see a different one. I've seen them. I've been up close and personal in the gym, in the barn with Don Charles and Daniel Dubois, been watching the training, watching the development, and I'll tell you what, this kid truly believes he's got this in the bag. They've gone through this with a fine-tooth comb. They've gone through it forensically, Gareth, and they feel that they've got the game plan. And if anyone's going to do it, it could be him.
There's some great things from Don that he's told me. I've been up in camp myself. Both Spencer and I have been up to the farm, up to the barns in camp that overlooks the arches of Wembley. And the thing is about Daniel, they've analysed, with a sports scientist, they've analysed Usyk. Don sees him as a chameleon, a bad guy acting good all the time. They've imprinted all these things in Daniel, and he'll quickly take the centre of the ring. It will be an immediate battle in there on Saturday night. Both men will want the centre of the ring. You know what it's like, Stuart. Daniel's had his dress rehearsal, if you like, with Anthony Joshua last September. He knows what he's got to do in there. It's an incredible cauldron and an incredible place to go and represent yourself, your country, and win all the belts.
Where do you think that this fight's going to be won and lost with either fighter?
I think with Daniel Dubois, it's quite plain and simple. He knows what he's got to do. As I say, they've been through this one meticulously. They've been working on a game plan, and I think the fight is won and lost with Daniel Dubois. He has to go out there, take the centre of the ring early, be aggressive, and just put Usyk on the back foot, because Usyk is only 70% of the fighter on the back foot. He likes to control the space, make his opponent work, tire his opponent out, like he did in the last fight with Dubois. And Dubois blew a gasket in round 8 and had nothing left in the tank in round 9. This time, he's got to use that experience, and I think he's got to put him under pressure early. The fight for Dubois is won in the first half.
But Dubois will do that, but Usyk will know that, so he will jump into the centre early and try and force Dubois back as well. That cat-like footwork, that cat-like movement, that left hand from lots of angles. Honestly, this will not be a slow start. Daniel Dubois has got to win it early, and for me, Usyk wins it late. Honestly, it's going to be an amazing night at Wembley.
And both of your opinions, Spencer, start with you. Who's under more pressure, Dubois or Usyk, to win this fight?
I think it's Oleksandr Usyk, because we're talking about legacy here. Like, Oleksandr Usyk's going to go down as just not a modern-day great, but a generational great, an all-time great. That's what's on the line for him here. He's beat Anthony Joshua twice. He's beat Tyson Fury twice. He's beat Daniel Dubois once, and if he beats him twice, he's pretty much cleaned up, you know, this modern era, and he'll go down in history. Undisputed cruiserweight, undisputed heavyweight as well. So all the pressure really was on him because legacy.
Right.
Dubois, this is about becoming undisputed. And funnily enough, since there's been a timeline with Daniel Dubois where he's posted stuff out from the age of 13 years of age, and on every single post is collect all the belts, hashtag collect all the belts. That's been the timeline. His dad's been installing that in him. Now's his opportunity, the undisputed heavyweight title.
Just very quickly, Shaban, I think all the pressure's on Daniel Dubois. He's been through the dress rehearsal. He's the guy that wants to win all the belts. There's ice in the veins of Usyk. He doesn't feel pressure.
Love it. Gigi and Spenny, thank you so much for being with us, back with us ahead of all of the fight at Wembley this weekend. Good to have you with us, guys. Take care, all the best.
Cheers, gents.
Cheers, guys.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.